I'm going to go ahead and welcome everybody. Appreciate you guys showing up tonight. And let's go ahead and stand and do the prayer and the pledge of allegiance of the flag.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this glorious day. We thank you for this preview of our upcoming summer today with this warm, sunny weather that you bless us with here in Talbot County. Father, we thank you for your love, your grace, your mercy, your provision, your peace. We just thank you for blessing us day in and day out here in Talbot County and across our state and across our nation. Father, we just love you and praise you. In Jesus' most precious and holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, let's go ahead and get started on the agenda. The council has the agenda they've been looking at here. So is there any additions, deletions, or corrections to the agenda, council?
No.
Okay. Okay, hearing none, the chair moves that the agenda be accepted as unanimous consent. All right, next is the minutes, March 24th. We've had time to take a look at that. Is there any additions, deletions, or corrections to the minutes, council?
No. Move the approval.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Move the approval.
Yep, okay. Hearing none, the chair moves that the minutes be accepted as unanimous consent. Disbursements of March 31st, April 7th, and April 14th. We've had a chance to take a look at that. Is there any additions, deletions, or corrections to the disbursements?
No.
Okay. Yep. Hearing none, the chair moves that the disbursements be accepted as unanimous consent. Okay. Moving on for our first proclamation with Child Abuse Prevention Month. Madam Secretary, could you go ahead and read that into the record, please?
Proclamation, Child Abuse Prevention Month, April 2026. Whereas Talbot County's future quality of life depends on the safe and healthy development of children residing in communities across our county. And whereas Talbot County seeks to raise awareness of child abuse prevention and support for children who have suffered abuse. And whereas Talbot County Children's Advocacy Center reports that more than 200 of the youngest and most vulnerable citizens seek support each year for abuse through our Child Advocacy Center. And whereas effective child abuse prevention and support efforts to child victims and families succeed because of partnership created among local law enforcement, human service agencies, legal experts, healthcare providers, mental health experts, and other agencies dedicated to improving the lives of children. And whereas, while Maryland has adopted laws to protect child victims' rights and provide essential services, our public and private sectors must continue to work cooperatively to maintain and improve programs and legislation that will benefit these youngest and most vulnerable victims. And whereas, Talbot County calls on all citizens, community agencies, medical and mental health providers, elected officials, schools, and businesses to increase their collaboration with Talbot County Children's Advocacy Center in support of child victims of maltreatment and to prevent child abuse and to strengthen the community in which we live. Now therefore, we, the County Council of Talbot County, do hereby proclaim April 2026 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in Talbot County, and urge all citizens to recognize this month by building a narrative of hope for children and families through collaboration so that all children have the opportunity to live, learn, work, and play in a safe, stable, and nurturing environment. Given under our hands in the Great Seal of Talbot County this 14th day of April in the year of our Lord, 2026.
Okay, good job, Madam Secretary. Okay, is anybody here? Linda? Yeah, she is. Okay. Come on up. Thank you.
Mr. Callahan, we need a motion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Also moved.
Yep.
Second.
Okay, got a motion second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lusher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes? Aye.
Okay. Welcome, Linda.
Thank you.
Yeah.
For the record, Linda Webb, Department of Social Services. Thanks so much for doing this. You may have noticed the blue pinwheels around the county and around Easton. Those pinwheels are intended to bring awareness to child abuse prevention by representing the healthy and carefree childhoods that we wish for every child. The National Children's Alliance reports that an estimated more than 532,000 children were victims of abuse and neglect in the United States in 2024. According to the National Centers for Disease Control, as many as 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 13 boys in the United States are estimated to experience child sexual abuse. In the last fiscal year, Talbot County Department of Social Services responded to 87 reports of child physical abuse, sexual abuse, or neglect with a Child Protective Services response, and to many more with services, safety assessments, and information and referrals to other service providers. Our Children's Advocacy Center conducted 80 forensic interviews that year and 53 medical examinations for victims of suspected child abuse. The CAC served 214 children and adults with services that include family advocacy, life skills groups, peer support, and emergency financial support. The CDC tells us that the trauma of child abuse causes children to lose their sense of safety and trust in the world and harms their relationships. And when left untreated, the trauma of child abuse increases a child's risk of depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder symptoms, substance use disorders, risky sexual behaviors, or increased risk for violence against themselves or others, physical health problems like infections, injuries, or even heart disease or diabetes later in life. So for these reasons, the Department of Social Services, the Children's Advocacy Center, and our many partner agencies focus not just on responding to reports of child abuse and neglect, but we also focus on prevention. For example, our Child Protective Services unit responds to specifically defined low-risk CPS reports using an alternative response, which offers services and community connections to families in need instead of working toward a CPS finding. Our in-home services unit provides intensive case management designed to preserve families by increasing protective factors and reducing risk factors. We provide parent education using the evidence-based nurturing parenting program, a curriculum designed to increase parental nurturing and reduce or avoid abusive child rearing behaviors. Our Option Respite program prevents foster care placements and family disruption by providing short-term stays for children and youth with licensed resource families. We deliver Empower Me in every elementary school in the country, I wish, in the county, as well as in community settings. Empower Me is a body safety program designed to prevent child sexual abuse. And we provide significant funding to our partner, the health department, each year to support healthy families, a home visiting program also designed to increase nurturing parenting skills and prevent abuse and neglect. Providing our children with the healthiest possible childhood and preventing child abuse is not the responsibility of just one agency, but it is the responsibility of the entire community. We are grateful for our partnerships with local law enforcement, the legal community, healthcare providers, the schools, and with Talbot County. We could not do what we do without all of you. And yet there's room for doing more. So we would welcome anyone with questions or offers of help to contact us. I want to recognize some of my staff here. They're the ones that do the hard work. I may be the face that you see, but they're the ones that do all the hard work. And then I want to extend a couple of invitations. So behind me, you'll see Christine Abatello, Lauren Krasko, Linda Prasad, Kristen Schneider, Crystal Christ, all of whom are members of our Child Welfare and Children's Advocacy Center leadership and staff. So, because it is Child Abuse Prevention Month, the Children's Advocacy Center is hosting open house tours on April the 22nd at 9:30, 12:30, and 2:30, and we would welcome any of you who've not yet had the opportunity, or if you have and you'd like to return, to come by the CAC, and we can share more information with you if you like. We'll also be delivering a Community Empower Me presentation at the Eastern Branch of the Talbot County Free Library on April the, is it the 23rd? 23rd? See, I couldn't do it without him, from 5:30 to 7. And that evening, we will provide dinner, we'll provide a session for parents, and a session for children aged 3 to 12. So even if you're not bringing any children, you've heard me talk a lot about Empower Me, I would welcome you to come and join us. No pre-registration necessary, just drop by if you can. So thank you
Okay.
for this opportunity, and can we take a picture with all of our folks?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you want to say a couple words? Yeah. Or we're good? Yeah.
Yeah, let's
Okay,
go down the
okay,
line.
bring your group on up.
So-
That'd be great.
If I may, I'm going to set these up here too. Oh, okay. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you for what you do. Okay, next on the agenda is a proclamation, Talbot Day. Madam Secretary, could you go ahead and read that into the record?
Proclamation, April 25th, 2026, Talbot Day. Whereas Talbot County, Maryland, established in 1661, is a community defined by its rich history, vibrant culture, and more than 600 miles of scenic shoreline. And whereas Talbot County is comprised of the municipalities of Easton, Oxford, Queen Anne, St. Michael's, and Trapp, along with numerous unincorporated towns and villages, including Barnett, Bellevue, Bosman, Bruceville, Claiborne, Copperville, Cordova, Fairbank, Ivytown, Longwoods, McDaniel, Nevitt, Newcomb, Royal Oak, Sherwood, Skipton, Tillman, Tunis Mills, Unionville, Williamsburg, Whitman, and Y Mills. And whereas Talbot County has been shaped for over 365 years by the people, traditions, and stories that continue to define its character and sense of place. And whereas 2026 marks the 365th anniversary of Talbot County, which coincides with the 250th anniversary of the founding of the United States of America, offering a once-in-a-generation opportunity to reflect on our shared history and a look ahead to our collective future. And whereas on April 19, 1983, the Talbot County Council unanimously approved a proclamation declaring April 25th to be the official birthday of Talbot County and encouraged citizens to recognize and commemorate this day in an appropriate manner. And whereas the County Council recognizes April 25th, 2026, the official birthday of Talbot County, as Talbot Day, and further designates Sunday, April 26, 2026, as the day of community celebration. And whereas Talbot Day 2026 will bring together residents, families, and visitors in a spirit of unity and pride under the theme Celebrate Talbot, with activities that honor the county's past, celebrates its present, and inspires its future. And whereas in recognition of this milestone year, residents are encouraged to celebrate Talbot County throughout the entire month of April, embracing opportunities to engage with local history, culture, and community. And whereas Talbot County citizens continue to demonstrate a deep commitment of service, stewardship, and community, contributing to the strength and vitality of our county. Now therefore, we, the Talbot County Council, do hereby proclaim April 25th, 2026 as Talbot Day, and encourage all residents, organizations, and visitors to join in celebrating Talbot County's 365th anniversary and our nation's 250th anniversary throughout the month of April, culminating in a community celebration on Sunday, April 26, 2026. Given under our hands in the Great Seal of Talbot County, Maryland, this 14th day of April in the year of our Lord, 2026.
Okay, thank you, Madam Secretary. Okay.
How about a motion
Okay.
to approve?
Motion to approve.
Okay. We got a motion second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Okay. Sarah, you want to come on up?
Hello, Council. My name is Sarah Kilman. I'm the Communications Coordinator, but also someone that's working very hard on Talbot Day. So I figured I'd share a little bit more about this year's celebration. I did want to say thank you so much for the Council for recognizing Talbot Day and this milestone. As mentioned, 365 years of Talbot County, which is incredible when you stop to think about it. Talbot County is technically older than the United States. So. What I love about Talbot Day is that it takes something that seems so big and makes it seem really personal. It's not just about the history, it's about the people. It's about the neighbors, volunteers, and community members that show up every day and make this place what it is, home. And it's a chance for the community to come together, spend time together, and celebrate what we have here in Talbot County. This year especially feels meaningful because we are heading into the nation's 250th anniversary as well. And that's the big national story. But Talbot Day gives us a chance to, a moment to celebrate our local story right here. So as mentioned in the proclamation, we would love everyone to come out on Sunday, April 26th for the celebration. We will start with a ceremony at 4 p.m. at the front of the courthouse lawn, where we will recognize our Citizen and Service Award nominees and our poster contest winners. And then we will move into the community celebration from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. on the back courthouse lawn. So that would be the West Street in front of the library. We'll have an old-fashioned ice cream social with free ice cream from Scottish Highland Creamery, lawn games, arts and crafts, touch-a-truck, and live music. And you can learn more about that, our wonderful event, at talbotcountymd.gov/Talbot Day. I did want to take a moment to recognize some of my Talbot 250 Commission members that have come and joined us tonight. We have in the back, we have Cindy Orban. We also have Emma Poole and Kristen Goller as well here tonight. And before we take a photo, I have a surprise. You guys may have noticed this treasure box.
Nice.
Or not. And then we have a treasure box.
I was wondering, I'll tell
It's
you.
for you.
I saw.
Treasure box for you.
I'm going to say this in front of the mic.
Such a treasure.
So as part of our celebrations this year, we produced a special limited edition challenge coin. And you all will be the first people to receive the challenge coin. We partnered locally with Bay Imprint to make this possible, and only 250 challenge coins are being made. So in order to get them, you have to do some special things to be announced on Talbot Day. But you guys, because you're awesome and your council, I guess you guys can just get them. So.
Awesome. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
Look at that.
Nice, thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome,
Oh, nice. Look at the other side.
That's pretty cool.
Treasure.
So on the front, it says the 365 and then our anniversary years. And on the back, it has a picture of the courthouse. And you'll be able to get those by doing specific challenges this year as we celebrate Talbot 250 and 365.
Nice. All right, good job. Good job. Okay, so you want to go ahead and get everybody, your team up?
Chuck, hold
Yeah,
on just
yeah,
a
yeah,
second.
go ahead.
Not yet, if you
Yep.
can, if you can.
Yep.
Well, I have you come up in just a moment, but I just want to take a quick moment just to thank Sarah. Sarah, you've put you've put a lot of time and effort in this, a lot of heart, a lot of soul. So I'd like to just thank you and the rest of the team, everyone who's put in the time, and you made all of our Talbot Days what it has been. You know, this is just really, really cool to see this coming together and doing it. And for the for the picture, if we could call an audible. This is Talbot Day. This is for everybody. So everyone in the audience, if you guys can come on up too. Maybe we have our commission come up first, and then let's have everyone come up and take a picture, if you guys don't mind. So
That'd be great.
all right.
That sounds good. Okay. Anybody else, sir? We good? Okay. Let's go. We can hold up our coins? Which side? Yes. There we go.
Always happens.
You'll hear it. Oh, yeah, come on. Come on up. There you go.
There you go. How's that? You don't have to walk far.
One to the right front. There we go. She went on us.
Okay, smile. Oh God, okay. We got everybody. Thank you so much.
Oh, yes. It was a proclamation for Talbot Day. We're all members of the community.
All good?
Yeah.
Okay, next on the agenda is a presentation and a request from the Talbot Soil Conservation. You guys want to come on up? Yep, Shawn?
Good evening.
Yep, good evening.
Thank you for having us this
Yeah,
evening.
no problem.
My name is Shawn Smith, and I'm the district manager for the Talbot Soil Conservation District. And here with me is John Swain, chairman of our board of supervisors, also a farmer in Talbot County. While I don't have any prepared remarks this evening, we did come forth to discuss our erosion and sediment control fees. Every few years, we come in front of the council and ask for your blessing after our board of supervisors has already reviewed our review fee schedule for 2026. I'm assuming everybody has the letter.
Yes. we
Okay,
do.
so I
Yep.
won't go through it, but if you have any questions. And then also the other thing we need to tackle, if we can tonight,
Mhm.
is enacting a review fee structure for ag stormwater review.
Okay.
So over the past couple of years, we've been working with Public Works to take on some of that workload of reviewing ag stormwater. And so we've been doing that, like I said, for a year or so. And so we just like to go ahead and set forth a review fee schedule for simple ag stormwater structures.
Yep. So,
Okay.
so can you help the public? So we have in-house people that do stormwater.
Absolutely.
Okay, and so when does it come to you?
So specifically, we approached Public Works maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago,
Uh-huh.
about some of the issues that we were having within the ag community for best management practices.
Mhm.
So we have a lot of interest in the county for structures such as manure waste storage structures or ag chemical handling buildings. And they were being asked to, on top of the design that we've already done, to do additional stormwater. And so we received some guidance back from MDE back in 2014 that basically said, if you're going to do a best management practice, we're not going to go ahead and burden you more with additional stormwater regs when the majority of these projects are put in the center of a 100-acre field, let's say, or in a farmstead that's already treating stormwater. So by working with Public Works, we were able to identify any project that doesn't exceed 1 acre of disturbance. We can run that through our shop. That takes a little bit of the workload off of the regular stormwater projects. And it also helps us out too, because we're trying to facilitate cost share for farmers, and it makes that process a lot easier and quicker. So it has worked, but there is some admin time that takes just to kind of review and make sure we're meeting all the stormwater regs.
Yeah, I got you.
For
I
ag.
got- Yep, I appreciate you. And so just one other question. So these fees, this is the state, not the county,
This is the district.
the district. Okay, so help me
we're-
with that.
Sure. So we're quasi-governmental,
Okay,
meaning that we were enacted by state law, but we're not a state entity. So we exist because of COMAR. COMAR says we should exist, but we don't have our erosion and sediment control fees, and along with these stormwater fees, kind of help us meet our mission. That is, those are the only fees that we have obligated to meet to meet our mission statement, which is outreach, education, things like that. So while we don't get a county budget, we don't get a state budget, we don't get a federal budget, those E&S fees that we collect really are our operating funds. So as in everything, every few years we take a look at it and we see how is it working. And as you can see in here, we propose to streamline some of our structure to make it simplified. And so I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have regarding the proposed structure.
okay, Council, any other questions on these fees?
No.
It looks like you're doing a little bit of a simplification here, where instead of charging an upfront application fee and then a fee when you review it, that you're merging those together.
Yes, it's all into one. The primary reason we're doing this is, as I had mentioned, these are our operating fees. And so as of right now, we have a very small staff, and it is primarily state employees and federal employees. So I'll say district employees are grant funded or federally funded. We have an administrative assistant currently who's on a 5-year contract. And so we're trying to figure out a way of how do we keep and retain that support for the erosion and sediment control program. And so that's kind of why we started thinking again, how can we be creative, but still satisfy the needs of the program, but look towards the future, because we don't get, like I said, we're not getting any additional funding from the state or the
understand.
Fed.
Right. Okay, any other questions? I can tell you personally, I'm not a big fan of raising fees.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's kind of a little bit sticky. I might have to pay John out of pocket, I'm not sure, you know what I mean? But he's a good guy, and I know you do your things, but I'm not sure I can be on board with raising the fees. I really don't, so. But you guys do a good job, you got a job to do, so it's just not my thing to raise fees.
No, and I'm not here. I mean, this is a hard thing to tackle, as far as we don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, as I said before,
Yeah,
we don't
I'm with
receive a
you.
county budget. We don't receive a state or a federal budget.
Right.
So
You gotta
we're
do
kind of
something.
out there on an island. And
Yeah, I
how do
understand.
we keep things working?
Yeah, I understand. I
So
understand.
I'm against fees too. So
Okay.
I can
Yeah.
empathize, but
Okay, yeah.
I'm stuck.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And
Okay.
it looks like they're not all going up.
No, a lot of them are staying the same or going down. In fact, I don't want to have to go through the nuances of it, but let's just say right now, if you disturb over a half acre, for a single-family lot or single-family home on over a half acre, we're charging $325 to review the fee, to review the plan. I apologize. So we're going to streamline it, so it's going to be whatever the tenth is. So if you have half an acre at $500, it's only $250. So it actually goes down, and it just streamlines everything. So if it's a tenth of an acre of a project, it's $50. Where right now we're at $325. So it kind of it'll make things easier for our purposes as well, as far as tracking and things like that.
Yeah, I got
So.
You want to say anything, John?
No,
You good? Okay. Okay, any other questions?
No, I'll just say that having gone through the sediment and erosion process recently, it was a fairly painless process, thanks to you and your guidance. So I just want to thank you for that, and I appreciate that, because really having somebody to help you through the process when you're going through this is very important. So you and your team did a great job with my civil team and architects. So I thank you for that, and certainly understand the increase in the fee. I'm with Chuck, though. I don't like fees at all for the type of projects we do, but
Sure.
I clearly understand the reasoning behind it. So
Yeah.
just want to thank you for all that you do in that office and your customer service.
We wish you the best of luck with your project.
Hmm?
Wish you the best of luck
Thank
for your
you.
project.
Thank
for
you
sure.
so much. I appreciate that.
no comment?
So we need a motion? Is that
We
what
need a motion?
Susan?
I'll move for the proposed fee schedule.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
No.
Mr. Stepp?
No.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Okay. All right, guys, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay, next on the agenda, we got introduction of legislation. Madam Secretary, could you go ahead and read the title, please?
An act to establish the 2026-2027 annual budget and appropriation ordinance.
Okay.
Good evening,
Well,
Council.
good evening. How are you?
I'm doing very
Good.
well. Nearing the finish line.
All right,
It's looking
yeah,
like
I
a
see
beautiful
that.
thing here.
You did a good job, budget.
Thank
guys.
you. Martha Sparks, Finance Director for Talbot County, here to have a budget introduction for our FY 2027 budget. I purposefully picked that picture to celebrate Talbot 250. Okay.
So good evening, Council. I'll start off the presentation and then let Martha do what she does best to get into the weeds when it comes to the budget. First of all, I'd like to just thank the Council once again for all your hard work on this year's budget. I think that it went well. I think that you did a thorough review, and we tried to tee up a budget this year that was a reasonable baseline budget. We tried to keep it as flat as we could this year by limiting new positions and just kind of holding the line. We continue to engage in what we call a conservative budgeting process, which means we underestimate our revenues and overestimate our expenditures. It served us well over the years. So in this year's budget, we did the same. I'm happy to report that our current FY26 budget, we're on target to meet our goals and objectives fiscally. And our priority this year has been public safety and education, along with the other services that the county does provide. Every year we take a look as we start the budget process at certain risks that we are facing at a given year. This year in particular, these will probably resonate with folks that are watching this presentation. We are seeing significant policy shifts at the federal level with rapidly changing dynamics, which injects a somewhat uncertainty in the budgeting process. The second is a state looming budget deficit. Council is well aware that we are seeing shifting of responsibilities from state government to county government. That is that's fiscally as well as authorities. So it's an interesting time that we're facing from a budgeting perspective. We've seen this in the area of the core funding for our health department, our teacher pensions, and other areas across state government, shifting those responsibilities to county government. The economic pressures, we are seeing a number of them. If you watch the news any given day, I think you could sum it up at this point with a general supply constriction, which is increasing cost globally. And of course, we need to recognize that as we build our budget for FY27. And then finally, workforce challenges. We continue to be in a period of significant competition for talent. And I'm happy to report that we are maintaining our talent. And that's because the council steps up and does what we need to do to stay competitive and to make sure we not only provide a competitive salary, but we also address things like safety in the workplace, leading edge equipment for our practitioners that are out there doing the work, and other areas that are valuable to employees so they can do what they do best. So we are addressing those risks. And then strategies that we use this year, we are holding the FY27 budget below the FY26 level. As you will see as Martha goes through the presentation, we are limiting new positions. There are only several new positions, but the caveat was that funding had to come with, sustainable funding had to come with those positions. So that was, I have to give our department heads full credit for just stepping up and adhering to that request from the county manager and county council. We focused on completing existing capital projects. If you remember, council, in FY25, you put a significant investment into capital projects. And we are still running with that commitment to finish what we started. Last year, in the current budget, FY26, FY27, we continue to finish what we started. It's exciting. Extension of sewer, roadways, buildings, to name a few. So, you know, again, I default back to this concept of personnel, processes, and projects. That's our overarching plan. We've addressed each one of them, and this specifically talks about projects. Happy to report that we just cut the ribbon at the St. Michael's Library. I think the folks down there were quite happy. There was a great turnout down there. In third week of May, we'll be cutting a ribbon at the North EMS station, where you'll have paramedics on duty 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to serve the north end of the county, so that we can maintain that 8-minute response time 90% of the time in Talbot County. Public safety building will be ribbon cutting on finalizing that building, and the switch over to the 911 center in that building in July, and then Chapel School will be in August. So lots of good things coming. And again, I just reiterate that we continue to be on track as far as our plan. At this point, I'm going to hand it over to Martha to get into the weeds. Thank you, Council.
Council. The general fund budget for fiscal year 2026 is performing well. Revenues are projected to come in slightly above estimates, and expenditures are on track to meet budgeted levels. The FY26 budget has supported and allowed for meaningful improvements in government services, community support, communications, and overall government effectiveness. County manager has stolen some of the things from my list, but I'm going to go through them again as well. There are some really good things that need to be highlighted that council has accomplished with the current budget that we're in now. Earlier this fiscal year, Talbot County began construction of a new North EMS station in Cordova. This facility will improve emergency response times and enhance public safety for residents in the northern part of the county. In addition, the county has entered into an equipment purchase agreement for new heart monitors, stair chairs, and power stretchers for all paramedic units, replacing aging equipment and enhancing EMS capabilities. Council has also increased support to our volunteer fire departments. Talbot County also continues to prioritize the safety and maintenance of its 370 miles of county roads. Routine maintenance and paving occur annually, but the county also invests in strategic roadway strengthening and widening projects. In November 2025, Talbot County, in partnership with the Town of Easton and the Midshore Regional Council, completed a multi-phase project to widen and strengthen Goldsboro Neck Road. This enhances safety, improves access, and supports future economic growth associated with the Mistletoe Hall Commerce Business Park and the Talbot Commerce Business Park. More recently, construction began on the Chapel Road culvert replacement, which is necessary to maintain safe roadway conditions and proper water flow to the Wootenox Creek. Did I say that right? I get that right. That's hard. We had a debate about how to pronounce that. The St. Michael's Library also reopened in March 2026, showcasing new features designed to better serve the needs of the community. Improvements at county-owned pools in Easton and St. Michael's are ongoing as the county continues to invest and maintain its recreational facilities. Most recently, the council established the Office of Community Partnerships to serve as a coordinating office that strengthens collaboration among agencies, nonprofit partners, and community stakeholders, and improves access to resources. Those are quite a lot of good things that there are to talk about in the current budget. Now, for the fiscal year 2027 budget strategy. The fiscal year 2027 general fund budget of $159.1 million was developed using the county's longstanding conservative budgeting approach, which has consistently supported a strong financial position. The budget reflects input gathered through meetings with departments, outside agencies, finance, the county manager, and work sessions with council. Each request was carefully reviewed, and the budget before you represents the priorities and decisions made during those sessions. Our budgeting methodology focuses on modestly projecting revenues, evaluating the need and impact of expenditures, and using reserves strategically. This disciplined practice ensures that any new ongoing expenses, such as full-time positions, are added only when a funding source is found and is clearly justified. As a result, Talbot County has been able to maintain low property and income tax rates and keep other fees down. This approach has also supported healthy reserve growth, positioning the county to withstand fiscal uncertainty at the state and federal levels. Council's reserve policies adopted last year provided clear guidance for funding decisions and risk mitigation strategies that help to shape this budget. FY 2027 budget highlights. Talbot County property tax rates were calculated in accordance with the Talbot County Charter and the Maryland Education Article 5-104. The calculation includes a 2% increase above SSTAT certified revenues, an additional 1 cent approved by voters in 2020 and 2024 to support public safety, and a 1.47 cent education supplement. There is no change to the county's income tax rate. Income tax revenues remain volatile, and volatility is expected to increase due to the state of Maryland approving higher tax rates on high-income earners. The last time similar tax increases were enacted at the state level, Talbot County's income tax revenue declined by 40% the following year due to out-migration, and it took 10 years to recover. Maintaining a low income tax rate helps reduce the risk of out-migration of high-income earners. There were also no increases in the schedule of fees. Talbot County's general fund reserves at the end of FY 25 totaled $106 million, which includes $24.9 million in the rainy day reserve, $7.5 million in the risk mitigation reserve, $4.8 million in the permanent public improvement reserve, and $44.3 million in unassigned reserves. These reserves were calculated according to the reserve policy adopted by Council in February of 2025 and provide 30% coverage of general fund expenditures before financing costs. The FY 25 reserves also include $21.6 million assigned to the FY 26 budget and $2.7 million in non-spendable reserves. Reserves should only be used for non-recurring purchases, projects, or payments, and not for ongoing expenses that are difficult to reduce, such as personnel or education funding. Talbot County's reserves provide several benefits. They demonstrate a strong financial management to credit rating agencies, supporting the county's ability to secure favorable interest rates and reduce borrowing costs. They also provide the ability to fund small capital projects and capital outlay without borrowing, and they serve as an essential tool in the county's conservative budgeting approach. The largest portion of Talbot County's recurring operating expenditures supports Talbot County Public Schools. For FY27, TCPS funding and school-related debt service account for 43% of the county's recurring expenditures. FY27 funding attributable to K-12 education includes the required adjusted local share of $57 million, capital projects totaling $1.8 million for the Easton Middle School roof and the Education Center exterior repairs and painting, teachers' pensions at $619,801. This was formerly a state liability that it has shifted on to the counties. Universal pre-K at $307,663. This is a state mandated cost, and it has increased from $29,000 last year. And this might be a good time to mention that in FY25, out of the 24 jurisdictions for school funding, Talbot County was the 12th highest total in the state and local per pupil funding, and the 4th highest in local per pupil funding. The FY27 budget also includes a 3% cost of living adjustment and 1 performance-based step for county employees based upon their performance evaluation. No new general government positions without an identified funding source, and fund balance reserves will be invested in $5.5 million for capital outlay, which is equipment purchases and very small projects, $4.6 million for capital projects, and $2.2 million for the recreation fund. Total revenues for FY27 are projected at $159.1 million. Revenue estimates have been increased based on historical trends. This approach slightly adjusts the county's traditionally conservative budgeting methods while relying on reserve policies to help protect against uncertainties such as federal policy changes, the state's budget deficit, and broader economic pressures. Property taxes remain the county's largest revenue source, and the education supplement is a component within that. The education supplement resets to 0 each year. Each year's new supplement amount is then folded into the total property tax revenues and becomes part of the county's cumulative property tax rate going forward. These revenues from the education supplement are dedicated exclusively to education funding. The county has 2 primary sources of revenues. Those are property taxes, which comprise 46.5% of general fund revenues, and income tax revenues at 25.1%. Other local taxes, such as recordation, transfer, and other local taxes, account for 9.4% of general fund revenues. Recordation and transfer taxes can be volatile and are strongly tied to the performance of the real estate market in Talbot County. The net increase in education funding to Talbot County schools, teachers' pensions, and universal pre-K is $1.8 million. Operating costs for the county have increased 5%, mainly as a result of the fixed costs related to our workforce. Capital outlay has also increased by $2.4 million. Capital outlay includes one-time or non-recurring costs for vehicles, equipment, and small improvements. And I wanted to highlight that included in this capital, the $5.5 million capital outlay, is Talbot County's contribution of the $2.3 million to the construction cost of the Queen Anne's Technical Center at Chesapeake College. This technical center, will support improvement of short-term workforce, focused courses and programs appealing to adult learners, career changers, incumbent workers, and to expand learning in the construction trades. There are also one-time increases of $2.3 million and transfers to the Recreation Fund for capital outlay, CIP projects for the community center and Hog Neck Golf Course, and to support recreation programs that are run through the community center. These general fund expenditure categories are consistent between our budget ordinance and our annual comprehensive financial report. In those financial documents, education expenditures include Talbot County Public Schools, Talbot County Free Library, and Chesapeake College, and this amounts to 43.7% of all general fund expenditures. Public safety accounts for 26.9% of general fund expenditures and illustrates this council's strong support for our public safety, which includes strong support for our local volunteer fire departments. General government expenditures comprise 11.7%, and public works is 5.6%. The total property tax rate has been calculated at 0.8180, which includes an education supplement of 0.0147. Talbot County property tax rates are calculated in accordance with Talbot County Charter and with the Maryland State education laws I mentioned earlier. Also, I wanted to reiterate the education supplement is not cumulative. The rate resets each year, and the revenues from the education supplement are dedicated to the appropriation for education funding and teachers' pensions. This is a history of a Talbot County tax bill. It's just an example to show the effects on someone whose property is assessed at $300,000. For a home assessed at $300,000, the year-over-year property tax increase is $44.40, with $44.10 of that amount directly funding increases for Talbot County Public Schools and teacher pensions. Since 2019, the property tax on a $300,000 home has increased by $635, and $480 of that increase is attributable to the education supplement. $155 supports county services, facilities, and programs. Counties in Maryland have very limited tools for generating revenue, and property tax is the most predictable and stable revenue source available. Education funding is a large recurring expense that grows every year. The county cannot reduce education spending in response to economic shifts. For this reason, Talbot County has intentionally placed increases in education funding into the education supplement. It ensures a reliable, predictable revenue stream for an expenditure the county is legally obligated and unable to reduce. It keeps education-related increases separate and transparent. Income tax revenue, by contrast, is highly volatile. The county does not earmark it, but relies on the flexibility within county operations to cut or reduce spending if income tax revenues decline. Talbot County does offer property owners located within a municipal boundary a tax differential based on parallel services offered by both the county and the town. In fiscal year 2025, the total benefit to these property owners was calculated at $4.1 million by the Department of Legislative Services. On the chart up there, you can see the tax differential given to the town of Easton is 0.1330. Oxford is 0.1180. Queen Anne is 0.0601. St. Michael's is 0.1270. And Traps is 0.0980. And those tax differentials are deducted from the unincorporated area, the county rate, to come up with the town property owner's property tax rate. This is a sample bill illustrating the county property tax rate and education supplement based on a home assessed at $300,000. I know during our work sessions we discussed the impact of the homestead tax credit, but it starts to get a little murky when you start adding those things to this example. So I've left it clean and kept that off of the bill. Talbot County has remained the lowest property tax rate in Maryland for many years. However, this is changing due to the increased educational costs mandated by the state of Maryland through the Blueprint for Education. Talbot County is structurally different because its charter mandated revenue cap limits flexibility in a way most Maryland counties do not face. Some counties are proposing to lower property tax rates in FY27, which happens to be an election year. These counties have more flexibility because they are not bound by the same charter restrictions as Talbot County. The Talbot County's charter revenue cap allows no more than a 2% increase in property tax revenues, 1 additional penny on the tax rate each year, and the county cannot exceed these limits under any circumstances. If Talbot County chose not to take the 2% increase or the additional penny in 1 year, the county cannot make up that lost revenue in future years, even if education or other mandated costs rise sharply. This structural limitation prevents large year-to-year swings in tax bills and enforces strong fiscal discipline on the council, the county manager, and all of our departments. However, it does also reduce the county's flexibility compared to other Maryland counties. Talbot County has the second lowest income tax rate in Maryland at 2.4%. The county's last income tax rate change occurred in 2013. A significant share of Talbot County's income tax revenue comes from a small number of top earning taxpayers, which makes this revenue source highly volatile. Income tax revenues have become even more unpredictable because of the state of Maryland approved higher tax rates on high income earners in 2025. The last time the state increased taxes on high income residents, Talbot County's income tax revenue dropped by 40%, and due to outward migration, and it took 10 years for us to recover. By maintaining a low income tax rate, the county aims to reduce the likelihood of losing high income taxpayers and protect this sensitive revenue stream. In May of 2025, we went out to bond for the chapel school renovations and addition. And as a result, we have new ratings from the 2 rating agencies. And Fitch Ratings, they affirmed the county's credit rating of AAA, noting the following: the AAA IDR and general obligation rating affirmation reflects Talbot's AAA financial resilience, underpinned by ample budgetary flexibility, and Fitch's expectation that the county will sustain reserves at or above 7.5% of expenditures. The long-term liability profile assessed as strongest. Revenue, however, it does mention that revenue volatility was assessed as weak due to the significant proportion of revenues derived from local income tax. And we purposefully, they recognize that as well. Moody's Investor Service, they affirmed the county's credit rating as at AA1, noting the following credit strengths: strong management team, maintains formal policies, conservative budgeting, and long-term financial and debt plans. When the county manager and I were discussing this, we are just carrying the torch for the strong management of the county managers and the administration and the county finance directors before us. There is robust per capita property wealth, manageable leverage, and fixed costs. There are public hearings on Tuesday, May 5th, 2026, at 2 p.m. in the Bradley Meeting Room, at 7 p.m. at the Easton Elementary School cafeteria. Final budget deliberations will be on Tuesday, May 12th, and the budget adoption will be on Tuesday, May 26th. The public is invited to submit written public comments by Thursday, May 8th, 2026, to public comment at talbotcountymd.gov For more information on the FY 2027 proposed budget, visit our website at talbotcountymd.gov.
Okay, good job. Any other? Is that it? Okay. Council? Any?
It's a great job.
Yeah.
Just
And
thank you
Caitlin.
to Ms. Sparks and your team for assisting council and the county manager in getting through this process. This covers a lot of ground, and appreciate your framing it up with so much clarity.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. You've done a great, your whole team's done a great job. Been working on it for 6 months, and, you know,
Feels like them.
yeah, close to it, you know, so, but you guys done a great job, and, you know, yeah, go ahead.
We have done a good job. I don't usually pat myself on the
Yeah.
back, but we couldn't do the good job that we do if we didn't have our county manager's support,
Right.
our assistant county manager's support, and the cooperation and support of all of our department heads. They were, we started making the changes last year. This year, we really hit a groove. We made some really good tweaks, and I think you can tell from the budget work sessions with all of you
Right.
that the information flowed with more clarity, and it just went
Yeah,
well.
It did, it went very well.
I'm still not looking forward to next year to making it better, though.
Day at a time, day at a
Yeah.
time.
So, okay, if there's any other thing, just to, raise a hand to introduce.
Introduced by council.
Okay.
This will be known as Bill number 1625. The public hearing will be held on Tuesday, May 5th at 2 p.m. in this room, Bradley Meeting Room, and then at 7 o'clock at Easton Elementary School cafeteria.
Okay.
And Mr. Council President, members of
Yes.
the council, I know there's been a lot of accolades, but I do want to personally thank Martha and Caitlin. They have worked a new definition of overtime, and their expertise has delivered you what you have here, and so thank you.
Thank you.
Here, here.
Okay, guys, thanks a lot, appreciate it. Okay.
Well, and one final note, and
Yep, yep, go ahead.
a thanks to you, Mr. Stamp, for your guidance for all these departments and leading us to a point where we're actually looking at a $2 million reduction in a budget. That does not happen very often. Thank you.
Thank you. Good. Okay, next on the agenda is the public hearing. Madam Secretary, could you go ahead and read the title of Resolution 392, please?
Resolution number 392, a resolution to amend the Talbot County Comprehensive Water and Sewer Plan to reclassify and remap 6 parcels of real property located at 25516 Bushy Heath Road, 25520 Bushy Heath Road, 25524 Bushy Heath Road, 25533 Bushy Heath Road, 25575 Bushy Heath Road, and 25608 Bushy Heath Road, Solitude Road, and shown on tax map 40 as parcels 98, 86, 2, 82, 4, and 110 respectively, from unprogrammed to S1, immediate priority status, pursuant to applications filed by Daniel D. Haley and Dawn A. Haley, Jacqueline H. Smith, and Federal Q-Tip Residuary Trust of Jerry B. Hook, Catherine A. Hikas, Kenneth R. Adami, and Beth Adami, and the Harry G. Broadman Family Trust.
Mr. Thomas, you want to help us with this?
I'd actually ask Mr. Clark and
Okay,
planning staff to come forward.
okay. Come on up, guys. Yeah.
Thank you, Ray Clark, County Engineer, here with Josh. I'll let Josh kind of start off and
Okay.
fill in.
Good.
Josh Elliott,
Hey.
Assistant County Engineer. The Bushy Heath Road property owners have requested an amendment to the County Comprehensive Water.
Squeaky wheel.
The County Comprehensive Water and Sewer Plan to change 6 properties from unprogrammed to S1 status, allowing 1 EDU per property to address the aging septic systems, located in the critical area. The Public Works Advisory Board voted 4-0 to recommend approval of Resolution 392 with the stipulation that the 91-acre parcel at 25608 Bushy Heath Road be limited to the 10 acres surrounding the residence. And the Planning Commission subsequently voted 3-0 that the resolution, they found it consistent with the comprehensive plan.
Okay.
Grace, do you have anything?
No, nothing there further. The Planning Commission did hear this in April, like Josh had said. The Planning Commission took into account the map that was revised by the Public Works Advisory Board to limit the area that is being designated S1 status to that 10-acre property. So that was part of their motion as well.
So has that new map now been incorporated into what is before us for a vote, or do we need to take any action to make sure that that new map is in there?
It is not, because the version that was introduced did not have that in it, and then it subsequently went to the Planning Commission and the Public Works Advisory Board who made the recommendation. So it would require an amendment of council, whether that's made orally this evening or in a document I can prepare and bring back at the next meeting.
Is it prudent to have that clarity in written form?
For this property, I think it would help just for illustrative purposes to see the area that's being proposed.
Okay.
It will require a few tweaks in the resolution itself.
So we can direct you from the dais but the amendment wouldn't be voted on until prepared at the next.
Correct. So you could direct me to prepare the amendment. I'll have it prepared for the next meeting, and then you can introduce it. It's already part of the Planning Commission and Public Works Advisory Board's recommendations.
Sure.
It's in the public, so I don't think you need to continue the hearing or anything like that. But I'll just, not to jump ahead, but with the next one, that there's an amendment that'll need to be made there as well. That one actually, I think, can just be made from the dais, because it's really just a clarification to what was requested.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and open it up to the public. I'll give you 3 minutes to speak. Individuals, anybody that has a organization, I'll let you spend 5 minutes talking about 392. So at this time, I'll go ahead and open the public hearing on this side over here. Anybody wants to come on up and speak about 392? Come on up. Okay. Anybody on this side would like to come on up and talk about 392? Okay. I'll go ahead and at this time, and you said did you want to leave it open until he gets it done? Is that what we want to do? Because it is eligible for vote.
You can close the public hearing, can't we?
Yeah.
I think you can close the public hearing.
Okay, so I'll go at this time to go ahead and close the public hearing at this time, and now we can discuss how we want to move forward.
Well, I propose as our council has advised that we direct him to prepare an amendment that will incorporate the new exhibits A and B as recommended by the Public Works Advisory Board and affirmed by the Planning Commission.
Okay.
Is that your
Second.
motion? That's your motion. Pete?
I will make that as a motion.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
And I am clear on, we'll vote on the actual resolution at the next meeting.
Yeah, so I will send you an amendment with the new maps
Okay.
attached and the changes in the verbiage to the
Okay.
resolution.
Yeah.
And then the next meeting, you can introduce it, vote on it, and then if it passes, a vote on the resolution as amended.
Okay, sounds great. Okay. All right. All right, that's on that, resolution 392. Madam Secretary, could you do next resolution 393?
Resolution number 393, a resolution to amend the Talbot County Comprehensive Water and Sewer Plan to reclassify and remap a 26-acre portion of certain real property located at 25662 and 25664 St. Michael's Road, St. Michael's, Maryland, and shown on tax map 32 as a portion of parcel 31, consisting of 112.0718 plus or minus acres in total, from unprogrammed to S1, immediate priority status, pursuant to an application filed by James Edward Hikus, trustee of the Residuary Trust under the will of James Irving Hikus.
Okay, Madam Secretary, you guys want to come on up again and kind of walk us through this?
All right, so Mr. Hikus has requested an amendment to the County Comprehensive Water and Sewer Plan to change priority status from unprogrammed to S1 for two existing homes at 25664 and 25662 St. Michael's Road, located at one parcel. This would allow 2 EDUs to address the aging septic systems within the critical area. The original resolution was drafted to allow for only 1 EDU. However, how the resolution is presented and how the Public Works Advisory Board discussed the project was always based on 2 EDUs, and it was just the language of the actual resolution that referenced 1 EDU. And the Public Works Advisory Board voted 4-0 to recommend approval, and then the Planning Commission was presented with the revised language reflecting the 2 EDUs, and they voted 3-0 and found the resolution consistent with the comprehensive plan.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
Thank
go
you.
ahead. Yeah, only thing I wanted to add there was just a clarification on the reasoning for the 2 EDUs. The existing property doesn't have any existing development rights left on it. It's a portion that's to the right of St. Michael's Road with a remainder portion, which is technically a separate parcel across on the left side of St. Michael's Road. The reason for the request for 2 EDUs is because there are 2, one is legal non-conforming, the other is a legal dwelling unit on the property, and so it requires 1 for the existing dwelling and 1 for the other dwelling on the property.
Okay, sounds great. Okay, all right, at this time, I'll go ahead and open the public hearing. I'll give you 3 minutes to come up front if individual, and if you want to represent an organization, I'll give you 5. So at this time, on this side, on my left here, anybody wants to come up and talk about 393, please come on up. Okay, anybody here on my right would like to come up and
Good afternoon, Ed Hikus.
Yep.
From 25664 St. Michael's Road. I just want to be crystal clear here as we're going forward that under section 4 of this resolution, it says 1 EDU, and I would hope that you would adopt this with an amendment to make it 2. That's my only concern here.
Yes, sir.
All right,
Okay, thank you. Okay, any other want to voice their opinion on 393? Okay, at this time, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing. And at this time, any
Another
discussion?
motion? Another motion to amend it? I'm sorry.
I think that's what it is, right?
Yes, just to clarify,
Yeah.
it always should have been 2 EDUs. It was my fault in drafting it that I didn't pick that up when I was writing it. It wasn't, nobody else discovered it until after it had been introduced.
Okay,
Otherwise, it would just-
so we didn't, do we need to vote on that then?
Yeah, it's just, we'll
Okay.
just amend it so it's for clarity. I would consider it a typo, but just let's be
Okay.
clear for the record
So
in case
let's
everybody ever
make a
asks.
motion then.
So moved to make it 2.
Second?
Okay, we got a motion second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Okay, that sounds great.
So that's
Okay,
now,
that's-
now
that-
it's amended,
Now it's amended. Now we're ready.
Okay.
Now it's eligible for vote.
and you can
So,
you can ask the secretary to call the roll,
okay.
unless there's further discussion.
That's what I was getting ready to ask. Is there any further discussion on
No.
this? Okay. All right. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Okay, sounds good. All right, next on the agenda is recommendation of Planning Commission, a request of a tax amendment. You guys want to come on up?
Text amendment.
Text amendment, yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's been a long evening. It's been a long evening.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Tomorrow's tax day.
Good evening,
Good
council.
evening.
For the record, Brendan Tarleton, Planning Officer for Talbot County. If you may recall, this application for a citizen-sponsored text amendment was submitted to the Planning Office back in December of last year. It came before you all for a recommendation to move forward to the Planning Commission for their recommendation of an ultimate introduction of a bill that would effectively amend Section 19073.3A of the code regarding release of reservation of development rights or reserve land agreement areas on certain properties in the county. The crux of this application basically includes language that would allow for an additional option for an applicant to petition the council for release of reserve land that had previously been established on their property due to a prior subdivision. And it adds certain language that specifies that if the parcel was subject to an option contract with the State of Maryland Agricultural Land Preservation Foundation, that is MALF, that is binding upon the owner of the parcel and will establish a perpetual easement over the parcel, that applicant could then petition the council for potential release of that reserve land area. And that application was brought to you because we had an applicant who received an option contract offer from MALF that had an existing reserve land area on the parcel. Unbeknownst to the county at the time or the applicant at the time, MALF actually came back and contacted the county and said that their preference and their policy is now that they don't allow for underlying easements over top of easements for property holders in the MALF program. So they respectively asked the county to remove or release the reserve land agreement or the underlying easement on the property. The county obviously did not have an option to do that under our current code provisions. So the applicant proposed this amendment to the code that would effectively allow the county or them to petition the county to release the reserve land area so the entirety of the farm could be included under one singular MALF easement, perpetual MALF easement. The Planning Commission reviewed this in their February meeting as well as in their March meeting. Ultimately, in reviewing the language and the discussion that the Planning Commission held, they offered a favorable recommendation of the council's approval of this text amendment subject to the additional following language that I included in a memorandum to you all that basically states that the parcel would need to have been subject to an option contract with MALF that was entered into between April 1, 2024 and March 31st, 2026. The reasoning and the discussion behind that at the Planning Commission was that now that the county understands and knows that those reserve land areas or acreage would no longer be paid for by MALF, planning staff can now direct future applicants for the MALF program that they cannot be paid for that acreage rather than finding out after the fact and after already receiving an option contract from MALF and having to go back through the negotiation process of whether or not they choose to enter their property into the MALF program whatsoever. So it wouldn't allow for future owners of parcels with reserve land area to then be paid for the reserve land by petitioning the council for release of it on top of a MALF contract.
So if you are privileged to be awarded a MALF easement, you receive a payment for giving up the development rights on that.
That's correct. So the development rights are kind of part and parcel of that application. If a property does not have additional development rights allocated to it, it doesn't make it eligible for the MALF program. So there has to be remaining development rights on your property that MALF is essentially paying for in lieu of you developing that land. So that kind of drives somewhat of those negotiations of the price point of the dollar per acre figure for your property.
So if we did this in the other order, if you went for a MALF easement first on the full farm, you couldn't get your 3 lots or whatever it is you would otherwise be entitled to. It cannot be subdivided.
That's correct, unless you include an option in your contract and MALF is agreeable to it that you can reserve additional lots for family or farmstead planning purposes where you can set aside small acreage on the farm to where one of those development rights could be used in the future, but they take that into consideration as well as far as what they're going to negotiate paying you for. So conceivably, if you had 3 development rights, they could pay you for 2. You could retain 1 in a small area somewhere on that lot that you could potentially build a future home for, a son or a daughter or a family member.
So if somebody has taken those development rights and entered into a reserved land agreement, they've gotten a benefit from from that subdivision, the increase in property value or whatever it is.
Correct.
And now they can, on top of that, receive a payment for mouth if this were adopted?
If it were adopted the way that it was written, they would have the potential to petition the council for release of the reserve land. It would not ultimately allow them to have the reserve land released unless the council were to approve it. So this is basically allowing them the option to petition the council for release of the reserve land area. It does not say that the county shall grant release of the reserve land if there is a mouth contract option in place, the way that it's written. The added language from the Planning Commission would take it a step further and stipulate that if you don't have a mouth contract option between the time window that they've speculated, be it the April 1st to March 20 or 31st, then you can't apply this language to your property if it has reserve land anyways. So they took a more restrictive recommendation because of your concern related to utilizing the development rights on the property and then coming to a future council to petition the release of that reserve land that is technically already reserved or preserved land under a county easement, just not a state easement.
So this will allow the county to enable them to get a second benefit for that
For this
preserved land?
Yes, yes, essentially. So you would be taking area that would already be reserved and restricted to agricultural uses and structures under the county's reserve land stipulation. If you petition the county for release of that reserve land, then it would ultimately be released, and then they would get paid for it to be included in their mouth application if the council released it.
And we generally have much more demand for mouth easements than we have funds available for
Absolutely.
purchase
We
of those.
typically, there's typically at least one first-round offer accepted in each funding cycle, and we get anywhere between 25 and 30 applications a year. And you're required to reapply every year that there's a new funding cycle.
So this would allow council to go forward and put a mouth easement on land that's already cannot be developed, and then not have that money to preserve land that has no easements whatsoever.
The way that it's written, conceivably, that could be the case.
I don't see why we're doing this. Thank you.
Yes.
So can you, so if you, so help me out. So it seems like the Planning Commission doesn't have a problem with it.
Doesn't have what?
Well, it seems like the Planning Commission said, maybe we'll make this one exception for a time-limited time for this one applicant, because going forward, we certainly shouldn't be doing this. Is that what we're saying?
That's accurate. That was the Planning Commission's recommendation of this, because the unfortunate reality was in the past, mouth applications were accepted for land in Talbot County that was subject to a reserve land agreement, and there have been contracts that have been agreed upon that include stipulations of county reserve land agreements. This, however, has been a new policy that was relayed to us and the property owner and applicant at the time, that they cannot have underlying easements from a local zoning authority on top of, or local jurisdiction on top of their easements. So they requested us to remove the easement. And I think the Planning Commission's viewpoint is it would make practical sense to help the person that's been aggrieved of this miscommunication, but not to allow or open the door for future applications where individuals could then be paid for land that would go into mouth that's already preserved by conservation tools that the county has in place under the zoning code.
So with this text amendment, it doesn't allow, this is kind of a one-time thing, and it doesn't allow.
If it were adopted with the recommended language change that the Planning Commission's proposed here, as originally presented to council, it would allow for what Councilmember Lesher suggested, in that somebody that did a future subdivision of their property could come forward to the council and petition release of reserve land for a future mouth easement as well. But with the Planning Commission's suggested language, it creates a targeted window that you would have had to have an option contract for mouth within, which is obviously would have been exhausted at this point based on the sunset date of that being March 31st, 2026. This is the only option contract that we have currently on file in our office between that time window. So it would effectively only serve for this particular instance.
So it can't go back.
It can't go back because of the date that Planning Commission put
That's-
on it.
Right.
So you're saying that the property that we're reviewing now is the only property that fits in the window of April 1st, 2024. There's no other acreage in this period that Planning Commission has included in their recommendation. Is that?
That's correct. It would be this
Okay.
one application. So anyone who has a reserve land acreage on their property prior to now that came in the future for a MALF application, the language that the Planning Commission's proposed to be amended would not be applicable to that property.
But they still get to keep the benefits of having that, having had that in the past.
If a property's already entered into a MALF agreement and they have reserve land on that property, they've already been paid for that contract with
Right.
MALF at this point in time. So that's ultimately a moot
Right.
point. That was just obviously a
Okay.
difference in communication of a policy decision at that point. Because once you enter into the contract and sign it, MALF effectively pays you to hold that easement on your property. So if it's already been entered into and executed, that property owner's already been paid for the easement.
But in order to gain this MALF easement, they won't have to give up the other benefit. They won't have to dissolve the property lines of the lands that created the reserved land easement.
Yes, well, essentially, I was gonna say, it's a reserve land area, it exists by easement only, so there are not
Yeah.
really property lines surrounding it, but yes.
So it's still a double benefit.
Yeah,
I get
it's
it.
still, it's still protected. I mean,
Yes.
okay.
Is there something that you want?
I would prefer just to move on to the next agenda item.
Okay. Any other questions?
No questions.
Okay.
No questions.
So just for clarity on the legislative aspect of this, if I don't get direction from a council member to prepare legislation, then the proposal dies, it doesn't go anywhere. So just to keep that in mind.
Understood.
Okay. All right, we'll go ahead and think about that, and we'll come up with something.
But we don't have to prepare it for legislation today, right?
No,
If we need to
no,
get,
no.
we need to get more information in
Right,
regards to
right,
this. We
yeah.
can bring it back at our next meeting, correct?
Right. Okay.
Are we under time?
No, we're
constraint?
under no time,
No.
right?
Okay.
The code does not specify the
Okay.
timeframe, but
Okay, good. Let's work on something and come back. Okay? All right, thank you. All right. Madam Secretary, you want to go ahead and next on the agenda is the Planning Commission, the removal of the reserve of development rights of Lee's Landing. So you want to go ahead and go over that too?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep, that'd be fine.
Again, council, this is actually a petition for a request for release on reserve land on a specific property mapped as map 24, parcel 134.
Okay.
This property specifically falls within the provisions that allows for an applicant to come before the council under its current language to petition for the release of a reserve land agreement, because in this instance, the parcel zoning classification has effectively changed from the original time that the reserve land was actually placed onto the property. So the property in question is roughly, I believe, 6 acres in size. When it was originally subdivided from the farm parcel that it existed as part of, those properties were zoned RC, or rural conservation, and giving a critical area designation of RCA. That property has since been rezoned into the village area along with the adjacent parcels along that peninsula, and has been upgraded to the designation of LDA. The property owner is petitioning a release of the small portion of reserve land that actually exists on their lot as part of that original subdivision to account for the density required for an RCA subdivision, which, as I'm sure you're aware in talking through some of the comp water and sewer plan amendments, is a 1/20 density. Effectively, that's no longer the case now that the property has been rezoned and redesignated as LDA. So inherently, there is no longer a need for the reserve land area on the property due to the fact that it no longer retains the RCA designation. Those reserve land areas are typically set aside for making up density when creating smaller lots to account for the 20 acres required for a development right to be utilized. So that property owner is petitioning for the release of that reserve land on their property for the purposes of retaining some additional building area on their lot.
What is the water sewer designation on this, property?
I don't have that offhand, but I believe it is S1.
The neighboring properties are connected to the Region 2?
Yes, I believe so.
And it's that area, the donut hole in Leeds Landing Circle?
You mean the property in question?
The property in question.
It's on the outer portion, actually, of that kind of donut hole area, if you will.
Okay.
It's right on the edge of one of the bends of Leeds Landing there.
So now that it is zoned village, which is at VH, VR?
VH, I believe.
VH. A 6-acre property would be, what's our lot size in that zone?
I believe the minimum lot size is 1 per 1 acre.
So potentially up to 6 lots could be created out of this one?
There would be some possibility for subdivision potential. However, the limiting factor here is that you do have to have a minimum road frontage on a public road for subdivision or public or private road here. This property currently, I believe, based on the line style, shows that it's got about, I don't know, give or take maybe about 100 or so feet of road frontage. It required 50 for the establishment of a lot. So conceivably, there would be some design constraints that would not allow this property to ever be subdivided to that magnitude. Additionally, you still have the 15% lot coverage limitation for being in the critical area designated area as well. So a lot of that size probably would be conceivably unbuildable at this point. And the property owner did note to us that they have no future plans of subdivision of this lot.
So what's the advantage of releasing the
It would allow for the owner to retain some of the additional building envelope to the north side of their parcel. If you look on the plat exhibit of the property itself, that area has some existing utilities, and the driveway currently services that area. Their intentions, I believe, are to build a detached pole barn from the existing primary structure and garage area for personal and residential storage.
Any other questions, council?
No.
No.
Okay. Is this something that we need to have a motion on to move forward and give
It
them?
would require direction to council to prepare legislation?
I don't believe legislation is necessary.
Oh, this is-
In case that the zoning code authorizes the council to simply release it if the zoning classification changes, as Mr. Tarleton stated.
Yeah.
Yes.
I guess my one reservation is a little bit of understanding about the possible subdivision of this property. I think if this is to facilitate the building of a pole barn on a property and it's not going to be subdivided, if that's not in the cards, I think this is something that I can support. If this can be the camel's nose in the tent that allows future subdivision and so forth, I have further questions, I think, at that point.
So the density permitted on the property is based on the acreage that exists on the property today, not necessarily subject to the area of the reserve land agreement. So the density is calculated based on the entirety of the parcel, regardless of whether or not that easement exists there. So the number of development rights that's afforded to that lot today is a by right development right, not necessarily subtracting the area of the reserve land. So conceivably, you're not adding development rights by releasing the reserve land area. Those rights already exist to that property based on the base zoning designation that it exists within.
With or without the release?
With or without the release, yes, correct.
Okay.
Because it's based on property size, not property size minus whatever subject to easement. It's just a base density based on the acreage included in the parcel as a whole.
Okay, well, that makes a difference. Thank you.
This one seems pretty cut and dry to me. I'll make a motion that we release.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Okay, sounds great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda, a council discussion on a proposed text amendment.
Just bear with me one, so I can
Yeah, go ahead.
give some context here.
Yep.
It's part of my email.
Yep.
So, this is a zoning text amendment that was requested by Councilmember HEATH. This is for a referral to the Planning Commission.
Uh-huh.
So currently under 190-61 of the zoning code, developer agreements are required when the developer is required to install public or private improvements or planning. And one of the requirements is that the developer posts surety in a form and amount acceptable to the county, that the required plannings or improvements will be completed. There is a waiver process in section 190-62 for certain requirements of the zoning code where specifically provided. The developer agreements provision does not have that waiver language. So the proposed amendment that Councilmember HEATH is proposing would permit a waiver from the surety requirements that I described for a bona fide nonprofit entity based upon a showing of need and where the waiver would be in the public interest. And the proposal is that the waiver would be determined by the planning director upon recommendation of the planning commission and upon the criteria that are set forth in the code for waivers, which also has a proposed amendment just to make clear that one or more criteria as applicable are used to evaluate the waiver. It's not clear in the current code whether it's one criteria applies or all criteria apply. So essentially that's the proposal.
Yeah,
Okay.
so a constituent reached out in regards to this particular item that's in the code. And so we had a meeting and we sat down with Patrick in Planning and Zoning to discuss a text amendment that would assist going forward in the future since there's not a waiver option for this item.
So the motion is simply just to, our motion request is simply just send this to the Planning Commission for review.
That's correct.
And the world of nonprofit entities would include any not simply charitable nonprofits, but any nonprofit such as the country club or the yacht club or anything like that.
Sure, any bona fide nonprofit entity.
As defined by 501c3 status? Or?
Yeah.
Well, it's not just 501c3. Could be C4s, could be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll make a motion we send it to the Planning Commission.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Okay, sounds good. All right. County Manager, you're up.
Okay, under
Okay.
County Manager's report this evening, Council, greetings. I have several items for your consideration this evening. The first one is a request to transfer Maryland Department of Housing Community Development, DHCD, housing bond allocations. So the Department of Community Development and Housing has a program where they allocate housing bonds, and they have allocated this year $1,807,029 to Talbot County. Many rural counties then send that back to the DHCD to manage the program for the local jurisdictions. This county has done that each year, so this is an annual request. So we are requesting council approval to transfer Talbot County's 2026 tax-exempt housing bond allocation of $1,807,029 to the Community Development Administration for use in issuing housing bonds or mortgage credit certificates on behalf of Talbot County.
Okay, is there a motion?
So move to authorize the transfer.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Thank you, council. I asked Linda Webb to come up. Linda, thank you. Linda's here this evening, and we have a request from Social Services for council's approval for an annual request to extend a contract with law offices that support her operation. I'm going to hand it to her and let her give you the information. I'll fill in wherever it's necessary.
Sure. Good evening again. Last year, 2025, the county issued a request for proposal to which the law firm Stevens Palmer responded. We made a recommendation that the contract be awarded to that law firm last year, and it was. The contract was drafted with the option to renew a year at a time for several years, and we're simply requesting that that contract be renewed for the next year.
And that's the contract for $99,555?
Well, it covers 2 program areas. The first is the child and adult welfare legal services for $99,555. The second is our child support legal services for $75,000, and this is simply a pass-through.
Yes, no county funds are required, and yes, it is a pass-through grant.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you
Linda.
so much.
Appreciate it.
Council, the next item I have is I'm requesting council approval to send a letter to the town of Easton regarding the Poplar Hill Farm and confirming that the county does not wish to change the zoning on that property. I'm going to ask Council Secretary to read the letter to you for an approval or any further direction on the matter.
The letter is addressed to the Honorable Don Abatello, President, Easton Town Council. It's regarding Poplar Hill Farm. Dear President Abatello, on behalf of the Talbot County Council, I am writing in regards to Poplar Hill Farm, tax map 42, parcel 57, which the county acquired in 2024, and to provide clarification regarding the county's position on the property. Until such time as the council engages in an open public dialogue as a body and determines future use regarding Poplar Hill Farm, the property remains as originally acquired, including its current use and zoning designation. I hope this information is helpful as the town council continues its public hearings on the Easton 2026 Comprehensive Plan. Thank you for your strong consideration. Sincerely, Chuck F. Callahan, President.
Okay, discussions on this.
Yeah, the language in the letter, I think, needs to be tweaked a little bit. Although I understand that we're saying keep it as it is, the town in its draft has done some tweaking. And I would rather see it say that the property, that basically that you're retaining the same language as in the existing comprehensive plan, so that they can't manipulate the language that they're proposing. Because they could say, well, so I just think that we should say it should be the exact same language as the existing comprehensive plan, because that is what we thought we were agreeing to. And, you know, I just wonder whether the language that they're proposing, you know, would impact the value of the property that we obtained based on what was in the comprehensive plan at the time we bought it. So I think it needs to be tweaked a little. If that makes any sense. If you have any questions, let me know. It wasn't clear.
So what I just...
Right, go ahead.
So what I just heard was, and this matter really has two pieces. One is the zoning of the property. And the council's been clear that you want to leave that alone. And the second is the town of Easton is engaged in the process of updating their comprehensive plan, and they're assigning narrative to properties. In this case, they're assigning a narrative to the Poplar Hill Farm. And I think what I'm hearing Councilmember Milky say is that you would like it to, the same verbiage that had been used, to leave it alone, not create new verbiage. So what I'm hearing you say is to leave the base zoning alone
Yes,
and the verbiage as it was.
that's correct.
And we could add that into the letter to verify that if that's what the rest of the council wants.
Yeah, that they not add to or edit the existing comprehensive plan.
Because what people aren't seeing right now, we're seeing language they've crossed out. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
So we don't want to be, they're,
Well, the whole language, I think, is new. That's the thing.
right.
So what you're seeing in that slide presentation
Right.
that the town did
Mhm.
is they proposed this language, and then they proposed an amendment to that language, and that's what you're seeing there.
Yeah, I got you.
But I don't know that that is verbatim what is actually in the comprehensive plan, because I can't find it in the comprehensive plan.
So with the letter we wrote, what's not clear about don't touch it?
Because it's at,
I'm just curious.
okay,
That's all.
all right.
Why don't we just say
Because
something?
if we're saying keep it as it is, you say take the language that you have, which is as it is, and put it in the new comprehensive plan. Not,
Under existing comprehensive plan verbiage, basically.
exactly.
Okay.
So it would be merely a clarification of the letter you're sending by saying, in addition to the zoning, whatever you write about this in your comprehensive plan, leave it alone, allow the same verbiage to be in place.
Correct.
Is that?
I
okay?
think so, yeah, I think.
Or send
I
it to
think,
the property owner for review. The verbiage that you're gonna put in the comprehensive plan.
point.
Which is which the county owns, why not send it to the county, which is the property owner of Poplar Hill, to review it before it is approved in the comp plan?
I agree with that. And
We could
because
add that
what
request.
they've,
Yeah,
what
I
they've
mean,
sent,
yeah.
they've sent it to us.
Yeah, so,
No, they didn't.
no,
This isn't sent to us, it's
No,
what they want
this
to
is a
do.
slideshow that they did
yeah.
on the presentation of,
So they haven't sent us nothing.
that's right.
Yeah, so can we just ask them then, in addition to that, to send us the draft of the comprehensive plan as it relates to Poplar Hill, send it to the property owners for their review and.
That might be a nicer way to handle it.
That is.
Simply
That is.
requesting line.
massaging.
Yep,
Yes.
I agree.
Yes.
There we go.
Is that the direction of council?
We've landed the
Yes.
plane. That's good.
We need a
We have
motion.
We've
landed.
Yeah.
Motion is everything
There
stated.
we go.
Yeah.
Do we need a motion?
Second.
I don't know that I do. I'm pretty clear. I got 5 members telling me what to do, so I'm
You can
good.
always watch the tape. You can always watch the tape.
Just rewind it back.
Yeah.
Mr. President, we got a motion in a second.
Okay. Madam Secretary, we got a motion second. Could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Thank you, council.
Okay,
Thank you. Thank you.
The next item I have, council, the roads department is requesting council approval for an annual blanket purchase order for David A. Bramble Incorporated, using the Maryland SHA contract not to exceed $1.7 million to pave approximately 15 miles of county roadways. There are sufficient funds in the budget. This is an annual request for this blanket purchase order for the roads department to be able to carry out efforts to pave primary county roads. We'll be monitoring the asphalt price index before making any movement forward, but we want to get the purchase order in place. And of course, council, you'll have a view of the roads recommended before we do that paving in the future.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
And council, Department of Public Works and Facilities Maintenance is requesting council approval to award a contract to Gannon Refrigeration Service in the amount of $94,000 to install additional HVAC equipment in the server rooms at the Talbot County Public Safety Center on Mary's Court. There are sufficient funds in the budget. Ray and Josh are here. They can answer any questions. But I will say that as we load the server rooms for that facility to be the primary, eventually be the primary 911 center, it has come to light that we need to add additional coolant to cool those server rooms that become quite hot from the technology.
Okay.
And we
That's
do
fine.
have funding in the budget to do that.
Okay. All right.
Did you want to add anything?
Yeah. Good? Okay. Any questions?
No. Motion
Okay.
to approve the request.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
And council, I have the pleasure of inviting our new liquor inspector forward. And who would like to come up? Brennan, Jimmy, Bryce? And this is Morgan Holler. Morgan has been vetted. She went through a hiring process, thoroughly vetted, and she's been on the job now for about a week or so, right?
A few weeks now.
Okay. And before she can go off to the races to do her job as our new liquor inspector, she needs to get approval from council and direction to me to sign a thing that gives her the authority to do her work. And so here is Morgan, and who would like to take it from here? Jimmy. Good.
Jimmy Mulligan, Chief Code Compliance Officer for the county. Morgan came on board 2 weeks ago. We wanted to make sure we put a name with a face for you guys. We think she's going to be an extremely good asset. She will work under the Office of Code Compliance, and so we definitely need to get her to be signed up so she can start her very important job.
Well, Talbot County has its own liquor code, and as a consequence of that, more liquor licenses per capita than any other jurisdiction in the state, so you will have your hands full. Thank you for taking this on.
Thank you.
And council, I'd just like to say, I did have the opportunity to meet Morgan the other day, and I will say she's got a little spice to her. And I think she'll do good.
Okay.
I think she understands balance and discretion, but she does have some spice, so I think she'll do a good job.
Okay.
It's probably a mandatory attribute for this job.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will move to approve the appointment.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Okay, welcome.
Thank you, guys.
Yep.
Morgan, would you like to say anything?
Nope, just want to say thank you for the opportunity, and I'm glad to be here.
Mhm.
So I hope I will see you guys on good terms moving forward.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, thank you. Appreciate it. Yep. Okay.
All right, let's see, council, I think I have one more item for you. Yes, I have Ray and Josh here. Department of Public Works is requesting council to award a contract for improvements to US Route 50 at Hog Neck Golf Course, their entrance to David A. Bramble. I'm going to let them go from here.
Yeah, so this is a project that kind of started before the hospital, but because of the hospital project, it has very quickly come to light that something needs to be done there at the kind of service entrance for the golf course off of US Route 50. Back when they started the intersection work for the hospital, the hospital kind of said, hey, we're going to close down the entrance here, and we said, whoa, we got a ongoing project. That's where we take in our deliveries for the golf course. So we got together with State Highway and the hospital and worked out that we need to widen our entrance up there a little bit. And then we got with Davis Bowen Friedel. They developed plans. We took those plans to David A. Bramble, who was out doing the site work for the medical center project. And that's what we have here before us, is a proposal in an amount not to exceed $45,000 to do this widening work to accommodate vehicles there at the golf course entrance.
Mm-hmm. And again, we want to contract with David A. Bramble because they're doing the intersection work for the hospital. And so, again, just to reiterate what Josh said, we just want council's approval to be able to negotiate up to $45,000 to have this completed.
And this will align with the new traffic light at that intersection that on the other side will take you into the medical center.
Yes, and their plans allow, a line for it. This will just help access in.
Mm-hmm.
It also widens that access point as well. There's an extension of the culvert that's existing there today, so that would extend it further to the south.
Okay.
I'll move to award the contract.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Council, that completes your county manager report for this evening, and as always, thank you for your support.
Okay, thank you. Good job. Okay, next is a public comment. Do we have a sheet or anything? Anybody? Nobody has signed up. Okay. Anybody want to come up for a public comment? I think my buddy, he left, didn't he? He left. He's gone. Okay, next is council comment. We'll start off with you, Mr. Stepp.
I'll just, I'll go on the, go on just another thank you to Martha and her team, as well as all staff, Clay
Yep.
and Jess, everyone that's been a part of getting us to where we are. And I'll echo, Councilman Lesher's comments earlier about it's nice to see a budget to $2 million, less than last year already, from our jumping off point. So just kudos to everyone for getting us to where we are on that one, and really looking forward to Talbot Day festivities, so upcoming. So looking forward to that.
Good job.
I've said quite enough already tonight. No.
No, that is the first in 4 years.
I'll tell you.
He's ever said that. That's the first time I've ever heard
Let's
Pete say
keep going
that.
now, so just in case now, just in case, let's keep going.
I've ever heard him say that.
All right. Yep.
With all our discussion tonight, and for the past few weeks about preparing for Talbot Day, I'd like to give a pat on the back to Dave Stepp, Councilman Stepp, for coming up with this idea several years ago, and it's really taken off, and I think it's had a great public response, so thank you for pursuing that.
The thanks is all mine. It's been a team effort to get it to where it is, and those who have been involved in setting up, like I said, I'll re-echo to Sarah for helping out staff,
Absolutely.
helping out, and just everything that everyone's put in, everyone that's submitted, community volunteers and artwork and everything. So team effort.
Yep.
So Talbot Day's already been talked about. I just want to remind everybody about the Home Start Housing Fair that's going to take place on Saturday, May 2nd at the Talbot County Health Department from 12 noon to 3 p.m. So excited about that first one, and hopefully it will continue as an annual housing fair. So please come out and join the fun.
That's good.
And learn how to purchase a home. That's all I have.
Okay, good. The only thing I have is just jumping on what council said about we've got some really good people that take care of us. Very smart, keep us organized between financial, Jess and Susan and Clay, and Patrick. You guys keep us really straight. And there's a lot of things that people, we go through a lot of time with you guys, and you put a lot of time in to make us really look good up here, and I really do appreciate it, and it's appreciated, and I want to commend you guys. That's for sure. So, other than that,
The County Council's next meeting will be held on Tuesday, April 28th, beginning at 5:00 p.m. Council will be convening an open session at 2:30 p.m. for a work session with the Public Works Advisory Board and County Engineer, and then adjourning into closed session as listed on the statement for closing that meeting. Do I need to say something about Chesapeake College?
Good catch, yes.
Tomorrow, April 15th, Council will be meeting at Chesapeake College with the other participating counties to discuss the Chesapeake College budget. At the Caroline Center at Chesapeake College in Y Mills. On Tuesday, April 21st, the County Council will be meeting with the Board of Education at 5:00 p.m. in the Talbot County Free Library Eastern Branch Meeting Room. The meeting is open to the public. Therefore, is there a motion to adjourn this meeting and reconvene as noted?
Yes, there is. So moved.
Did we say what time tomorrow night?
6 o'clock is the meeting tomorrow night.
Yes.
April
Okay.
15th.
I didn't know if you said 5:30 dinner.
5:30 dinner. but
6
the
o'clock the
business
meeting.
starts at 6 o'clock.
Yes. Second to that.
Okay, we got a motion second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lisher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Okay, well, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.